are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, this is the Weekend Crunch. I'm your host, Errol Marks, my co-host, Speedy Petey. Remember, you can listen to our show every single Saturday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. New York Eastern Time, only on 103.9, the LI News Radio Network, brought to you by New York Sports E-Magazine and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Download the Worldwide Sports Radio app by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Well, you just heard the clown music. The Barclays Circus is coming to town as Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and the crazy Ben Simmons will have a season in the Barclays Center. As the Brooklyn Nets decided over the last couple of days to sit down with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and discuss what they should do moving forward as an organization. Kevin Durant and Kyrie both agree that they want to move forward with the Brooklyn Nets. All this mishmash, the crazy stuff that's been going on in the last couple of weeks. Kyrie wants to go with the Lakers. Kevin Durant wants to go back to Golden State, or he wants to go play with Phoenix, or he wants to go to Miami or the Celtics. All the crazy stuff that we've been listening to, all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, has changed. Kevin Durant saying that he doesn't want to play for Steve Nash. He doesn't want to be managed from management in Sean Marks. All of that is over now. Somehow they negotiated a deal where Kevin Durant decides that he wants to stay with Brooklyn for the season and try to win a championship with Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. Speedy, I don't know what to say. With the clown music, with the craziness of this organization, and you thought, and everybody thought, that the Knicks were the clowns of the NBA. No way. I don't care how good Kevin Durant is. I don't care how good Kyrie or crazy Ben Simmons is. This organization is an absolute joke.
The Knicks have never had a stretch where they've never had a first-round pick other than a pick swap for a full decade. In addition to having Ben Simmons, the worst contract in the NBA, in addition to having loudmouth, I don't even know what I'm thinking every day, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, who on his 8 Twitter accounts has 8 different teams he wants to go to and won't be traded to any of them because the Nets think, oh, we can just get somebody as good as Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards for him. Yeah, okay. You're going to need to make your expectations a lot more realistic with that, and it didn't work, so now all of a sudden you're stuck with them again, and all old depth to try to run it back and hope that not only they stay healthy, not only they shut their mouths and try and not distract themselves, but they can actually win, which Ben Simmons hasn't been on the court in over a year. Kyrie Irving, he's rusty. Didn't play a lot last year, and Kevin Durant, he's been injury prone, so tough to trust all that all at once, in addition to having Steve Nash, a kind of puppet figurehead coach. Good luck with all that, Nets. Nice job.
Has anybody gone to the circus before? Does anybody like clowns? Because if you've never seen a clown or clowns before, go to the Barclays Center. Go check out Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons. This season is going to be so fun to watch. I'll tell you why. Because once the Brooklyn Nets start to lose, you're going to see the clowns come out. You're going to see Kyrie open his big mouth and his trap all over social media and YouTube and go on every single podcast talking crap about the NBA, his team, his coaches, his management. And then you have Kevin Durant forcing his way out. I want to go back to Golden State. I want to go play with Steph Curry, or I want to go and play with Chris Paul. It's been nothing but craziness. Him and his fake Twitter accounts and all the dumb stuff that we've heard Kevin Durant say over the last couple of years has been despicable. And then Ben Simmons. I don't want to hear it. All 3 of these guys are coach killers. And I don't want to hear that Steve Nash can't coach this team. I could coach the team. I have never coached basketball in my life. With these 3 players, it shouldn't even be a problem coaching this basketball team. This team should win 50 or more games this year. The question is, are they going to play like a team? Is Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and Ben Simmons actually going to play like a team? Because they did not play like a team when James Harden was there. And I don't want to hear about their bench and the depth and all that other stuff. When you're paying 3 guys the amount of money that you are, that's your fault. You still should win. Talent is talent. You could put 2 kindergartners playing with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons, and you still should win. It is embarrassing over and over and over again listening to Kyrie Irving and his foolishness all over social media, making fun of the organization, telling the organization that he wants a max contract and he only wants to play 60 games. He doesn't want to play any back-to-backs the whole season for the next 4 years.
Don't forget, he wanted to be a player coach, too.
That's another thing. After Steve Nash's practices, he calls his own practices. It's embarrassing. If you're an organization right now and you're watching Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons run another organization, what would you say about yours? You're one of the top players in the NBA. And I'm talking to you, Kyrie. You're one of the best point guards we have seen in the last 30 years. I think you're the best point guard talent-wise in the NBA. But you will never reach your potential because you don't shut up. You do not shut up. And Kevin Durant, you are a top 5 player still in the NBA, even tearing your Achilles and coming back from that terrible injury. And you leave Golden State and you come to Brooklyn and you swear upon winning a championship here and you haven't gone further than the semifinals. You're the best player, one of the top 3 players in the NBA. Why haven't you taken this team to the Eastern Conference Championship? I'll tell you why. Because you're clowns.
And it seems like the Nets tried to create something that they just couldn't handle. They tried to create a LeBron-like identity for Kevin Durant to be able to bring all these veteran guys on one-year deals. Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Andre Drummond, the list goes on. And LeBron's the only guy that can succeed with those types of circumstances. And he's the only guy that can succeed in terms of
because he can take over a game, Speedy.
And he's the only one that can succeed at actually managing Kyrie Irving, which, since you've been Kyrie Irving's teammate, he's done all kinds of, as we mentioned the whole segment, clownish stuff.
Milwaukee will never lose to the Brooklyn Nets. They will never lose. As long as Chris Middleton stays healthy, they probably would have won back-to-back championships. I think they beat Golden State. I think Milwaukee has enough depth to beat the Golden State Warriors. And they have the best player in the world, in Giannis. I can't see this Brooklyn Nets team turning it around. Unless Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant open up their eyes and realize how talented they are, how dominant they could be as a team, they're never going to win. They couldn't beat Boston. They were a better team going into that Boston series. I don't care how good Boston was playing all season long, how good defensively they were, the best defense in the NBA, and they went in as a second seed. They were better than they were. I don't know what to sell if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan going into the season. There's nothing to sell. The only thing I could sell to all you fans out there is make sure you get yourself a Brooklyn Clown Circus shirt.
Circus tickets. You could sell them outside the stadium, just like James Harden sold playoff
tickets. There you go. Maybe you'll get some autographs by those idiots. They're a bunch of jokes. And the Nets, as an organization, they're a joke. Because they should have traded these guys and get rid of that headache of what you call Kevin Durant.
The Nets at this point would be better off just assembling a bench of all circus animals and hoping for the best at this point.
And then there's the Knicks. The Knicks are doing everything they can to get Donovan Mitchell. Here's the problem. Danny Ainge is running the show. Danny Ainge hates the New York Knicks organization. He comes from the Celtics organization. He's never been a fan of ownership with the Knicks. He's never been a fan of Leon Rose, and he wants to rip the Knicks off. You saw what he did with the Timberwolves. You saw what he had to do to make this team a future juggernaut in the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell is the best player on that Utah Jazz. There's no question. No matter how far they've went in the playoffs, Donovan Mitchell was one of the reasons why, if not the reason why. So the Knicks aren't going to be getting one of the best players in the NBA for nothing. And I understand that. But offering Evan Fournier, Obi Toppin, a good young prospect who looked really good at the end of the season, and 5 first-round draft picks, that to me is definitely worth Donovan Mitchell. You don't know if Donovan Mitchell 3 years from now decides to part ways with the Knicks and leave, and those picks turn into lottery picks. The Knicks need to do the right thing for the organization. If Danny Ainge doesn't want to trade Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks, so be it. The Knicks will have to deal with it. Another losing season. Wait until one of these guys become available in free agency and snag them up. It is an embarrassment what Danny Ainge is trying to do to the Knicks. He's trying to make the Knicks look like a self-proclaimed pee-wee basketball team.
Which is how they've been run for a while, but not anymore because they're not backing down of your stinginess. And we've seen teams do that when you were GM with the Celtics. And how many top superstars did they get? They got all 3 of them in one offseason with Horford and Hayward at that time and then Kyrie Irving. But beyond that, you've been striking out on a lot of these guys because of your stinginess. And now, being somebody the other way around, you're going to have trouble losing leverage because it's a player-run league. And Donovan Mitchell, who recently said that he only wants to be traded to the Knicks, the Nets, who are next to impossible to get him, and the Heat, who are having money problems, you're going to lose a lot of leverage from that too. I was saying 4 first-round picks and 2 out of 4 of the young players we always listed, Grimes, Quigley, Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson, those 4 were probably going to be what got the deal. And now you're going for 5, 1 young player, Toppin, and 1 veteran player in Fournier. That's about the same. That's probably similar to what the offer was expected to at the time with the 4 and the 2 players. So you're backing down now from that. You're going to continue to lose a lot of leverage, Mr. Ainge, because you're not going to be able to expect to get the Rudy Gobert type deal. That was more of an exception to the market than the actual market. I don't think any other team other than Minnesota was going to give what you got for Rudy Gobert. And Donovan Mitchell is a well-rounded young point guard. I know he's regressed defensively. I know he's definitely not the same as that, and he's been dealing with a couple minor injuries, but he's a well-rounded player. Rudy Gobert, a defensive juggernaut, but not much offensively, and you got 4 first-round picks. That's an exception, not the rule. So stop trying to make it the rule and trying to be hard on yourself, because otherwise you're not going to get an offer as good as what the Knicks gave you.